So back out here in this lovely Corona world, and as you can see, my hair is all grown out and I look like I'm really tired. Well, FedEx has been getting hit hard with deliveries, so I've been working 6 days a week for the past, this is going on 2 months now, so a little tired. I've moved up from however many stops I was running to now we're having to take areas off me because I'm over 200 stops a day, which most of the drivers are actually having that problem. But we're going to keep chugging along doing that, and I'm out here doing an update on the truck because with all this extra work I'm doing, I've been getting extra money, so I've been buying more parts for my truck. So to keep the good spirit of the channel going, I'm going to show you what is in store for the truck. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen a picture of the front of my truck torn apart at this point. So as you can see, I have the drill off and the lower bumper along with the bumper support behind it, I guess you would call it, taken off. I left the actual brackets themselves still attached because they are a pain whenever I was trying to take it off. The bolts don't want to come out of the back. Not because they're seized up, just because there's a little bit of clearance back here that you can't really get to. But if you're taking off one of these 4th gen bumpers, there's 2 bolts on top, which are 18mm, and 2 bolts on the bottom, which are 18mm. This is for a tradesman. I'm not sure if the other ones, the Bighorns and Laramies or whatever, are different, but for mine at least, there's 2 bolts up here and 2 bolts down there. They're 18mm on both sides. You take those off. You also have to disconnect your wiring from the bumper. So the oil heater, that unplugs with these little fir tree connectors. I didn't realize that I didn't have to cut it off here, but I went ahead and cut this little zip tie, holding it to this, which that's nothing, just a little zip tie, replace that. And then on this side, you have your factory, it's actually hanging down here, your factory, what do you call it, the parking sensors and all your stuff for the front end right here. Not the fog lights, but went ahead and undid those little fir trees on that, took that off. So took the plug off of the bumper for the oil heater, and then on each side there is one screw that'll actually pin the bumper in here with this with the rubber that sandwiches this. So I took that pin out right here on both sides, and then took the bumper right off. Which before you want to do that, you probably want to take the drill off just so you can get a little bit more clearance to these top ones. Which these top ones were a pain because there's not very much room in here. But what I did was I used a 18mm wrench and was able to break the nut free, and just took some time just getting in here, just, you know, a little bit at a time until I could spin it by hand. So on this side, I took off this little 10mm bolt to be able to peel this back to get a wrench and socket in here a little bit easier. This one you can use a socket on. This one is more of a wrench for this bolt. And then I went ahead and just zip tied my little connector by the way so it didn't hang down here. But for the front, that's all that I did. And then for the rear, we haven't even touched the rear yet. But that will be changing within the next few days. So I know in my last video I said I might be doing taillights and a third brake light next. We're probably going to hold off on that. Instead, along with the front bumper, we're doing a roll pan on a 2017 Ram 2500. And with any luck, the hidden hitch I have picked out, it should fit it. So I won't lose any towing capabilities or anything like that. In my opinion, I love the roll pan a little bit more than the paint match bumper, just because it gives it a little more unique of a look. But I plan on keeping my rear bumper anyway, and later down the road send it out and probably have it stripped of all the chrome and then have it paint matched. But for now we're going to do a roll pan. I'm probably going to leave my exhaust coming out the side right here. Unless I see that looks stupid, then I might go ahead and do an axle dump. But until that happens, we're going to leave it right here like it is. Now before we head inside and I show you some of the parts that I already got, I want to pop the hood and show you what I did this past week. So coming out of the hood here, I was hearing a noise and I didn't really know what it was, and it was a little tinging sound. Come to find out there was a little bitty plate right here, and I took it off and it stopped making that noise. that was one of the noises I was having. Another noise, it sounded like I had a grinding almost in the front on one of my pulleys or my clutch fan. So I thought, oh great, that's going to be, you know, however much more. Well, I went ahead and took the little shroud right here off, which that wasn't the funnest thing to do, but you take the bolts off right through here. There's 4 of these, one each little corner, and this will actually slip in behind that fan. And then you're gonna need I believe it's a 32 or 36 millimeter wrench to get that fan clutch off there, which there's videos out there on YouTube of how to do that. Later on down the road, if I ever do anything else with this engine and have to take that back off there, I'll go ahead and make a video. But in the process of doing that, I went ahead and checked all my pulleys, made sure there's none of those. They were all fine. So the only thing I could think of was it was the fan clutch. Well, I took off the fan clutch and the whole fan and fired the truck up. It didn't make the noise. So I thought, oh great, that's what it is. And then I went ahead and replaced my belt with a Gates heavy-duty green belt. I'll put the part number down in the description if you're interested. Put the fan clutch back on there, fired it up, and still, it made no noise again. So I'm not really sure, and it hasn't been making a noise since. But whenever I was hearing it, it was right in this general area, right literally between these 2 brackets. It sounded like it was right in here, right almost where the fan clutch would be. So, not too really sure if the fan clutch is going out or what, but the truck only has 38,000 miles on it, which that's like nothing for these trucks, so I'm not really sure. So let's go ahead and head inside and I'll show you what I've been getting for the truck. Alright, so this is the lower garage on the house, because I don't have a garage out there built or anything, but I have some stuff going on in here. My brother and nieces came up here and we were playing around with the RC car, and it kind of took a turn. Broke some parts. So this is a 3.3 Revo nitro car, rather. I wish it was nitrous, but 3.3 Revo nitro car from Trax, and we actually put this up against that dirt bike that I had, that RM250, and they were about neck and neck for about 100 yards, and that dirt bike overtook it. But started racing it on the way back towards the house, and you know, you're steering the opposite way. Kind of made the wrong turn, and the dirt bike took the rear end out of it. So, which didn't break too much, broke a few parts, but that's no big deal. Also picked up a set of OEM headlights that I'm in the process of taking apart, and I'm going to be cleaning up the lens. So the lens isn't in horrible shape, but I'm going to go ahead and sand it and then buff it out so it has a nice clear shine to it. And the plans are to take these reflectors out and either put in clear or leave nothing in it, no reflectors, and then the insides are going to be de-chromed and probably paint match to my truck, which my truck's paint code is PXR, so it's gonna be that metallic, that pearl metallic black, whatever it's called. So that's what the insides of these are gonna be like, and then reseal them, as well as I'm putting. I'm gonna go ahead. I plan on selling these eventually, so right now I just want to see what they look like on the truck once I do the paint match. But I'm gonna go ahead and have all the wiring, so these will be just literally plug and play for whoever gets them next. So they'll have LED switchbacks already in them, and you'll literally just have to plug them into your truck and they'll work. They won't have any issues with hyper flash or anything like that. So they're a quad bulb, obviously. So there'll be a plug and play, no problem. And then another thing that I was going to do, which I decided not to, which is install these Oracle rim lights, which after looking at the truck and thinking about it, I really don't want to go through the hassle, because I take all those rotors off and everything off just to get to that dust shield, and it's just not worth it to me. So I'm actually selling those I paid like $250, $260 for them, so they're up for sale. But anyway, I got a few things over here. Picked up some fuel tanks. These were actually just for me to practice polishing on some more, which they're not turning out the horrible, but I know if I would have took a little bit more time, they could have turned out better, which I'm going to go back over them. This is the first cut. So, I mean, you can see there's reflective, but it's still a little hazy just because, you know, I'm still learning. But this is what it started out as, and you can see, turn around here. So, as you can see, they were really nasty, and this one hasn't been cleaned. I literally pressure washed this and let it sit. That one has been pressure washed, sanded. We started out at 220 with 320, 400, 600, and then first cut with orange pad. This one we just cleaned up, and then I just did orange. So as you can see, even after cleaning it up, it still needs a little bit of work, but this is just from the way it was, which you can still see a good shine off of it. And that's from just pressure washing it and doing an orange cut. So I'm going to be cleaning those up, but on to over here. So this is what's going to be going on the ram out there. I'm not sure if I want to color match this. I do have the lettering for it to go right in the center that says ram. It came with the drill. I'm not sure if I want to install it yet or just leave it like this, but this is what's going to be going on the truck after I get the bumper color matched, which is what we are going to be doing. I went ahead and took my brackets off the bumper. The bumper is sold, the grill is sold, so, and I ordered all the new parts. So what we have coming is a 2017, it fits a 2017 Ram 2500, and it is a fog light non-parking sensor front bumper color matched. So it still needs to be color matched, but it's paintable. That gives us a few problems. One of the problems is that we don't have wiring on the truck for a fog light bumper. And there's a form out there that I've been reading up on and figuring out what I need to do it. And I contacted the guy because you have to special order the harness from this guy. That he makes them. And it's 3 to 4 weeks out. So I went ahead and told him, go ahead and make me one. When it's done, just let me know. I'll pay you, get it shipped out. And so I went ahead and ordered fog light harness, that wiring harness from him. I actually had the fog lights up there on the shelf along with the brackets, and I ordered a headlight switch, all from Mopar. So the only things I did not order from Mopar was the front bumper and the bottom valance. So I went ahead and ordered those from a completely different place. They were a lot cheaper than going with Mopar. Mopar wanted like $600, $700 for an OEM paintable bumper, which I know people say go with OEM because it'll fit better, but in my experience that I've had, as long as you get a good quality aftermarket part from a good reputable source, they'll usually fit pretty good. It also helps that if you test fit them before you even ever have them painted, because you don't want to just paint it and then just throw it on the truck. So we have a bumper, valance, wiring harness, and switch on the way. I have everything put on it. I have to take it to the dealership, and they have to flash in a LNJ, I believe it's called, sales code for activating the fog lights. And so I know I could just wire the fog lights straight to whatever, but I want them to be as factory as possible. So get in the truck, press the little button on the fog light, or on the headlight switch rather, for the fog lights, and they'll kick right on. So that's what I want, is a factory OEM style fog light. I went ahead and for the price I went with a Mopar fog light harness and a Mopar headlight switch, because I really don't care to go aftermarket with electrical stuff unless I absolutely have to, and the price is ridiculous. But for the price it was like $50 for the fog light harness and like $62 for the little switch. So not too bad, especially going with Mopar brand stuff. That's all on the way. The only thing we have to do now is just have the stuff paint match. Oh, and I also have a rear street scene roll panel on the way, rather. So that's going to be getting done. I'm hoping that it has little indentations where I can cut out for the parking sensors. If it doesn't, then we'll just get to that when we get to it. But just want to give you a little update on what the truck is like and what the status is. So be prepared to see some good content coming up in the next few weeks. Also, I never would have thought about buying one of these until I was like, you know what, I need to do that fan clutch. And after doing my EGR delete, it was a pain, so I was like, I'm going to invest in a topside creeper. And this is what I bought. It's a Traxion, I think that's how you say it, Traxion 3-100 topside creeper. I believe this was $230 to my front door. Went ahead and assembled it in the garage right here, and this thing saved my back from killing me working on top of that truck. And this will also help for future stuff with the truck whenever I go to set my valve lash and all that inside the valve cover things, which I got pretty close to doing, but I went ahead and decided we'll save that for down the road. We'll go ahead and get the truck visually like I want, and then come back to all that stuff later on. But yeah, this is the update on the truck, and hope you all enjoy. Like I said, go ahead and follow me over there on Instagram, Snapchat, and be prepared for the next few weeks. Be safe.